Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. This match is going to be between Firebathero and Jaehoon, part of the MST. And you've got Jaehoon, who's, well, I guess he's been playing better than rest of MBC Hero. He's not been playing stellar, but he's been playing steady. He's been in most of the matches that he has ended up losing across the board. Firebathero's been extremely weak versus Protoss, though, across the board, and that's really been the match that has just knocked him flat on his feet time and time again. Really, yeah, versus Zerg, he's stellar. Versus Terran, he's okay. He's not fantastic. He's okay. I'll look up, actually, the statistics here in a second for you guys. But generally, yeah, Firebathero is just known for having miserable versus Protoss. Yeah, he's at 38% and compared to 52% for Zerg. And actually, his best currently is Terran at 60%. So, although I think he's known for just putting pressure, maybe that's just because the matchup difference is he's played much lower level Terran, much higher level Zerg, and given them a hard time. Anyway, this is going to be on Eye of the Storm, which I kind of think of as Neo Harmony meets Tau Cross meets kind of Python. I mean, it's not completely open in the middle. It's got kind of ramps and some blockades and things like that. Well, not ramps. It's got some ocean area, a little bit of water that kind of creates a four-way thing. But in the direct middle, there's a lot of area for flank. I think you'll see very heavy Arbiter play. I don't see carriers being really viable at all on this map. But otherwise, there's a third base, which is at each cardinal direction. And think of them a little bit like Neo Harmony, except the 6 and 12 o'clock positions, it's dual ramps that are leading in. And then otherwise, the main is almost exactly like Tau Cross, with that kind of old wall sort of feel, the ancient Roman, well, sort of, I don't know, architecture with just that little bit of a breach going through there. And we'll see how this works out. Firebathero, again, I think this is his match to win because Jaehoon, again, not a dominant opponent, and he's going to need it against the other guy in this group, Zero. I actually expect Zero to advance no matter what between these two. This game was actually played, I think, a couple days ago, and I am live casting it for the people who wanted to come and view in basically live. So a special shout out to everybody that's watching it live right now. I've got, I'm not sure how to pronounce that actually, Crazelick, who's been watching on live, and Skincrawler with a couple of others. So, and if you're looking for when I'm going to actually be doing the live casts, check out my Twitter account. I'll announce it there. I'll try to do a couple announcements here and there on YouTube. So, also Chingastrope, can't forget him. Anyway, Firebathero starting in the upper left-hand corner is that kind of peach color Terran. Bottom right-hand corner we have Jaehoon as the red Protoss. And I honestly have no idea how this map is going to turn out between these two guys. It looks like Firebathero going for a front door seal. I think that's a perfect seal on that map artifact, but don't quote me. The Terran seals, I can, with the supply depot and the barracks, I tend to flub that occasionally, but against the map artifacts, I'm never entirely clear with things like that. I'm just going to assume that is a perfect seal, just because it's been placed in such a way by Firebathero instead of a little bit further behind. Let's see what Jaehoon's going to be up to. Jaehoon, again, he's not been getting stomped, but he hasn't been getting a lot of big wins. MBC Hero, that team in general, seems to be just in the toilet right now. Light is the only real guy that's having any sort of form of consistency here, and it looks like we're going to see a one-gate light pressure build here, going pylon before anything else, and going to looks like gather a couple some gas. One thing about having no ramp to defend is you can put a little bit more pressure on as a Protoss player. But just because of the way you can see kind of how that's formed, siege tanks end up being a little bit more effective, I think. And okay, that isn't a perfect seal. The probe can actually just wander right in. It looks like we're going to see a factory first build for Firebathero. He's got he's got the 3 SCV on gas, so it looks like he's going to store some gas from this stage. Still might go for a fast expansion. Might trade it off as soon as that probe's taken care of, or at least evacuates his base. And there's that first zealot that's running across field to produce some harassment, because keep in mind, I think that zealot can caddy corner, go straight through, and once he does manage to get through, even though this is at cross positions, those Marines are going to have to be microed quite well. And that's one area, actually, I think that Firebathero excels at. He's very good when he's using that Marine versus zealot, or Marine versus anything, actually. He's very good with his Marine micro when it's just one-on-one. Medic Marine micro pretty decent as well. So there's that cybernetics core. Looks like we're going to see a 2-gate opening here from Jaehoon. I assume that we're not going to see a ton of early Dragoon pressure. There's that first Zealot and an SCV actually coming, blocking that gap. Couple Marines produced already, and it looks like he's going to go up, yeah, just continue with a little bit of the pylon production. Let's see, he's not going for range actually, so I think what he's going to go for is an early Reaver play here. It looks like now he's actually kicking on the range, was delaying it for a little bit. I would not be surprised if he actually cancels that as soon as Firebathero escapes his base. You can see as soon as he saw that SCV, he was like, oh, now I'm getting range. So I expect him to cancel it as soon as that first Dragoon takes care of that SCV, or as soon as that SCV actually pulls out. I think Firebat Hero is kind of sniffing that out. As you can see, he's already trying to disguise that SCV in the corner and provide himself a little bit of time to swing it back in, maybe kind of sneak in underneath or something like that. In the meantime, it looks like he's just going to explore that 6 o'clock, and it looks like the same thing on the other side. Another command center being, it looks like we are going to see a fast expansion build here from Firebat Hero. I'm just going to play it straight safe, and he's only got the 4 Marines, so he really is going to play a pure defensive, pure reaction build. There's that natural secondary being placed from Jaehoon, kind of an interesting map feature. Looks kind of like a smiley face right there. But you can see how wide open it is in the middle of the map, so really the trick for Firebat Hero is playing defensively and just kind of shoring up, playing a very kind of structured thing, and then really minimizing the effect of arbiters onto the mid game. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Jaehoon go into a 2-base arbiter build. Actually, I really feel like carriers are not at all really all that viable, and it looks like actually we're going to see a continuation with the range here with the 2-gate for expansion, and it looks like that siege tank easily going to be able to move that Dragoon off the edge. But keep in mind that Dragoon can actually get a lot of information kind of from that corner, can wander up as soon as that tank attacks, so you can basically see that entire front line, see all those Marines. So even if it takes a single shot, loses his shield, but that'll regenerate eventually on the retreat. And that probe still moving around out in the field. Let's see if it backs off now. There's that engineering bay. Again, I expect Firebat Hero to play this extremely carefully, very, very safe, not go for anything too nuts. Then just needs to make sure he keeps an eye on. Really, I think it's just scouting for the Terran player to keep an eye, make sure that the Protoss isn't getting too aggressive with expanding. If it is, go forward and punish it very quickly. And then I think Protoss, again, really well suited if they can just get to that Arbiter tech as quickly as possible and try to isolate Terran to 2 bases. It's very difficult, I think, to keep them off that 3rd, but at least isolate them to make it difficult to take that 3rd base that's up that ramp. Make sure they can't go up and really seal that, because I feel like if they can just go up there, they can seal it. It's very easy to defend, especially that 9 o'clock or that 3 o'clock with that single ramp, with siege tanks, with other stuff in the way, and then they're just free to start flooding across the middle of the map, where you just have to worry as a Protoss player setting up the flanks, setting up whatever, and it makes it a little bit more difficult for you to worry about your 6 o'clock and 3 o'clock. And Terran, that's one thing I feel like, as far as breaching up ramps, they're the best race at doing that. They've got the siege tank, you can just get the spot, you can get that barracks floating up above. So I feel like the expansions where you have that ramp on your 3rd, it tends to favor, at least in this matchup, Terran a little bit. And maybe that's just my Protoss bias talking, because I've been playing more Protoss. I generally don't play Terran at all. So anyway, it looks like 3rd factory being placed for Firebat Hero. It looks like he's getting that I think that's going to be the speed upgrade. Going to send some vultures out in the field, and vultures will be very effective here. Again, they have actually putting down a 3rd factory now. So, and yeah, I expect him to go pretty vulture heavy into the middle, and let's see if he just runs out, places a whole bunch of mines out in the field, just try to harass. And I really like this strategy he's employing here, honestly, because vulture's very mobile. You can plant mines absolutely everywhere across the middle of the field. It makes it very, very difficult for Jaehoon to get anything accomplished as far as securing that 3 o'clock or that 6 o'clock. They can be pretty well defended on those bases with just 2 Dragoons, but basically going up to 5 actually, so he's going to try to really push this game quickly right here. Jaehoon, though, it looks like he is making indications at teching up, and it's going to be extremely vulture heavy. As you can see, he still hasn't taken his 2nd gas, and he's going to stick to, I think, 1 machine shop. So yeah, going to, looks like a 6 factory push, and there's Jaehoon's direct press to Arbiter. And I think Firebat Hero actually is going to end up with a significant advantage here. He's going to have a lot more vultures out in the field with mines absolutely everywhere, and I don't think Jaehoon's really going to have the troop count to deal with it. And Firebat Hero actually making the move now with 5 siege tanks, a couple SCVs, and a couple Marines. And Jaehoon, it really needs to go up and be aggressive, and he's seen everything though, so let's see if he can kind of counter this. It's going to be very difficult for him, because I don't think he has a very large Dragoon force to work with, and he's going to be dealing with a lot of vultures in not too long. You can see him putting down the additional gateways now, knowing that he's going to be absorbing a very heavy attack in not too long time. If he can get that Arbiter out in the field, and if he can get some speed zealots as well, that'll definitely boost his odds, and I think that'll completely shift the game. But he's really, I think actually he's going to end up in a better position as a result, but he needs to stop this attack right here, make sure that Firebat Hero can't make advances, make sure that he can't run forward and get turrets placed on this side of the map, because if those turrets go down, Jaehoon's going to be in incredible trouble. And you can see he really precariously has to deal with the vultures as they're pressing forward. He has to engage them, make sure they don't sneak by, which is the big advantage of those vultures, is you can make sure that those other troops have to stay back, because he has to deal with those vultures that could possibly be sneaking by, loading up in that shuttle. That shuttle's going to be absolutely key. He needs to make sure he gets a really good drop and stops these turrets now, otherwise he's going to be in terrible position. Looks like he's going to be able to get one of those siege tanks down, but not able to get a lot else. You can see Firebat Hero actually securing that very easily. He's already got the 3 turrets down. Jaehoon in a lot of trouble. He's got a lot of production to work with, but yeah, he's just going to be running into constant vultures for the rest of this match. There's that second